It says
what is it
hair.
signifying?
So again, this is the semantic argument I told y'all was going to happen. In Revelations 1, he's asking me, what does the hair signify? The hair signifies Christ has hair. The hair signifies God has hair. But the Ancient of Days is Daniel 7 and 9. He's the one sitting on the throne that Sam said the Father.
Hold on a second, Mika. Did he just say that God has hair? So if it's God has hair and the person in Revelation 1:14 is Jesus, is he admitting that Jesus is God?
Oh my God.
Yo, come on, Kevin. I ain't against Cap on this one, but boy, listen to this again. Let's listen to this over. You got to be careful when you allow.
What does that mean?
In Daniel 7 chapter, when it says, I beheld the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool. It doesn't even say the color of his hair. Does it say the color of his hair?
What does it signify? That's all I'm asking.
I'm asking a question. Does it say
and the hair of his head like the pure wool?
Does it say the color of his hair? Yes or no?
And the hair of his head, I read it.
It says
what is it signifying?
So again, this is the semantic argument I told y'all was going to happen. In Revelations 1, he's asking me, what does the hair signify? The hair signifies Christ has hair. The hair signifies God has hair. But the Ancient of Days is Daniel 7 and 9. He's the one sitting on the throne that Sam said the Father sits on. The Son of Man, which is mentioned in Daniel's 7th chapter, and again mentioned in Revelations 1, is still coming before the throne. Sam's own words said Christ is not sitting on that throne. So if the Ancient of Days is only ascribed to the one sitting on the throne, you can't make us believe because hair signifies something that now make Christ the Ancient of Days. You got to do better.
Now, you see, Cameron, I let him go on a spiel. He didn't answer the question, so he doesn't accuse me of talking over him. Are you seeing that, right, Cameron? We're going to try it again, which you didn't answer, because if you were to answer, I will get to the point of the two thrones. I don't do tap dance. What does the hair on the Ancient of Days signify, head like pure wool? What does pure wool look like?
I answered this question when you first asked it.
I'm going to answer it for you.
You said, this is what you said. What does this signify? My answer was that Christ has hair, that God has hair. Even in that video, not finished, because you said I didn't answer your.
Let's stop for a minute. Now, this is a teaching moment for me. So I went to ChatGPT real quick, right? And I said, break down Revelation 1:14 and 15 for me. And this is what they did. Look at this. The true meaning is text, symbols, and sources. His head here, white like wool, his feet like burnished bright. What does this image actually mean? Now, when he says, what does the hair mean, or the head, or the wool, it has a specific meaning that's based off the Old Testament. So this is a precept that the guy is bringing out. So look at what Bible Hub did, right? Bible Hub said it refers to Ezekiel, it represents Daniel 10:6, it represents Daniel. If you look at the interpretation here, it says what these images symbolize: white hair and head, drawn directly from Daniel 7:9, Ancient of Days. In Jewish apocalyptic language, white hair is antiquity, wisdom, eternity, not age or ethnicity. John deliberately shares God's attributes with Jesus. This is the central argument for Christians. The writers of the New Testament, me and Mika writing a story, and we're going to write a story and say, Brother Ankh is the Messiah. We're going to use the Old Testament scriptures and put those adjectives that they use on Brother Ankh. That's all the writers of the New Testament is doing. This is not hard to understand. So this is why he's not the Father, but he's actually attached to the Father as far as also doing the same attributes what God did. So that also makes him a God. That's their argument. I don't have a problem with the argument. The problem is when we say the Bible don't say what it says. because you have a belief, so you have to stand with the belief. John deliberately shares God's attributes with Jesus, identifying him as divine. This is status and authority, not a physical description. This is where we get it wrong, because we want to say everybody's black. So Jesus was black because he had skin like burnt brass in an oven. That's black. Jesus is a black man. Rah, I was a part of the NOI. We taught that. We taught that in the Nation of Islam. So Jesus was black. So now when it says eyes like fire, omniscience and judgment. And how are they coming to this conclusion? They're using the Old Testament and the Old Testament meaning from the Hebrew. That's all they're doing. Voice like many waters. What does that mean? Divine authorities. Echoes what? Ezekiel 43:2, the voice of Yahweh. That's all John is doing. So what Sam is doing, we want to say, okay, he's wrong and he's right. Now look at this now. Common misreadings and why they fail. The claim. White here means literally color or ethnicity. White here comes from Daniel, Ancient of Days, not biology. That's why Cap have a problem answering the question. Because he's thinking about biology. It's symbolic. That's the problem. His hair is white. It says, in matter of fact, in some translations, it says his hair is here and his head is white. So it could, if you took it literally, it wouldn't be a black man anyway.
That's it. Isaiah 43 is agreeing with you, and that's because he's white. And it's not saying he white either, so don't get don't be tripping.
No, he's not agreeing because he's white. Don't say that. Don't say that. That's not right.
Yes,
That's
he
right.
is.
He's agreeing because he's a Christian. That's why. This is what Christianity teaches. So when it says bronze feet like equals skin tone, like you asked me a while ago about the bronze feet, the bronze's imagery always refers to strength, refinement, never race. Revelation gives Jesus a physical portrait. Revelation never gives literal physical descriptions. No Second Temple Jewish reader would read this literally. It has to do with interpretation. Now, let me see what it says right here. The text and the letter, Greek text line by line, bright, radiant, pure, wool, metaphor of, you see, when you go into the Hebrew, the Greek now, it says, Erion equals wool, a metaphor of brilliance, not texture. You have to go into the Greek. But when Vocab Malone teaches this, because he's so-called quote-unquote white, we not listen to him. When the guy in the audience, Isaiah said, we don't listen to him because he's quote-unquote white. But if Captain was to look at the Greek, you start seeing that these things are used as literary devices to make a point. John is trying to make Jesus God. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to say, yo, he's equal to God. That's what he's doing. So if that's the case, you can't. This is why when I'm listening to these debates, I try to learn from these debates. And if I don't know, I'm gonna go to ChatGPT, I'm gonna go to Bible Hub, I'm gonna get a basic understanding. He had voice like many waters. What color is that? What is voice like many waters? It's a divine voice. The same voice that God had in the book of Ezekiel. That's what the guy is trying to do with Cap. But Cap is saying, all Cap is thinking about, and I can't read Cap's mind. If I'm wrong, Cap, correct me, or somebody correct me. He's thinking color, and Revelation 1:14 has to do with him being black. That's the problem. Even if you look at the first, look at what they did now. They looked at it, the early church fathers. They said the white hair equals pre-existence wisdom, the fire eyes equal judgment. He followed as a role the early believers. Not saying that they're perfect. Some of them would be considered white. Some of them would be considered dark-skinned Egyptians or whatever. But at the end of the day, look at how they're interpreting it. They don't look at it as color. When did this color stuff start? NOI. In America. NOI with this. It has to do with black people. That Jesus is black. I don't doubt Jesus was a man of color, by the way, just for the record.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn what he was. The point is, this scripture is hyperbolic, and these words are being used as a literary device to make a larger point. He is connecting Jesus to God. That's what John is doing. That's the point I get. If I'm wrong, come on and correct me. I don't mind being wrong.
Come correct, Garfield.
ChatGPT's bias. It's about biology. Yeah, okay, fine. If you want to believe that, you can go ahead and believe that all you want. This has to do with the language and how the language is used. And then you're gonna have to look at the words and say to yourself, do these words, are they symbolic? How would you know if you don't understand the Greek? How would you know?